Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor, your front row seats for the dumpster fire, the end times, the falling apart of society. I am Joker, and today we've got some fun stuff to go over. And before we even get started, let me jump right in and start recording here on, and when I say that, I mean get recording on my screen recorder, for those of you that have asked, because they're kind of like, well, aren't you already recording? Guys, first, right up front, usually I put this at the end of my video, but a lot of you, like when I say, guys, thanks, blah, blah, at the end, you drop out. I do have, a lot of you say, don't you have a backup site? You know, because with all the censorship and everything coming through, my backup site is betterbachelor.locals.com. That's where I am. Join us. There's 5,500 guys over there. We post on the forums. Some guys are just lurkers and they read and watch. I post everything that I post over here on YouTube. I put it over there as well. And it's a great little community. Like I said, we got about 5,500 guys, and we've got lots of videos. We put links to great content creators and deep discussions about stuff and memes, and just kind of, it's just kind of a cool place to hang out and if you want to kind of share a little bit more with the community. And that's why I put my screen up here so I didn't forget. The other thing, so we did it, guys. We did it as of last night. Which would be January 6th. This is a photo from our government, from the congressional offices, and as you can see, we have installed President Buffalo Head into office. It's getting more and more like idiocracy. I have to laugh a little bit. Let's face it. These are not good times. We've got every political party here in the United States is angry with everybody else. We've got agent provocateurs, and we've got false flags, and we've got riots, and we got a bunch of stuff. Censorship's going crazy right now on Twitter. The president's been removed from the president's been moved from basically every social media site, and I have to laugh about it. It's serious, but at the same time, there's nothing I can do about it. The best thing I can advise you guys to do about it is prepare yourselves. And no, this is for whatever country you're in, because I've seen video from Canada, I've seen video from other countries, I've seen video now today or yesterday of Scotland, where the police are just going in, and because a neighbor told on a residence that they had a couple too many people in there, or maybe, and the cops are going in and cuffing and stuffing people out of their own homes. Look, times are not good. I get it. This is not the site where I'm gonna focus on that. This is a site where we're gonna talk about other problems and have some fun, and it is what it is. But somebody mentioned to me, "Hey, can you talk about this?" Look, I'm not prognosticating on what's coming up in the future. I don't know. That's just not my forte. Like I said at the first video I did this year, rough times are coming. Maybe the financial markets are going to go through trouble. Maybe they don't. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying that a lot of things don't stack up for me to be too happy about the way a lot of things are going. So all I'm saying is, hey, prepare your own home, and meaning make sure that your ducks are in a row, as we like to say. Make sure everything's doing okay for you. That's the best you can do for now. Maybe times will change, and you have to go with the flow. And when those times are, I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure that out for yourself, no matter where you are in the world. Big thing is just stay safe and stay sane. And speaking of sane, you like that segue? Speaking of sane, we're going to talk about. I've got some images here, and I'm going to start out with the serious stuff for about 4 minutes, and then we're going to get onto the fun stuff of why. A lot of times people, whether it's me, whether some of you guys have answered this, it's like, why don't you want to date anymore? Like, have you been hurt? Have you been burned? Is it your past? For me personally, and I've mentioned this just in the very last video I did, there's a lot of girls that are out there that are kind of bigger girls. They don't take care of themselves. They eat too much. And for me, I don't find that attractive. And it's not to say that look, if you do you, but the other thing I'm finding, and I'm reading a little bit more about, is the number of women that are having issues with stability, with not being in the deep sadness. And I did a video on this about 8 or 9 months ago, and it was about an Instagram influencer that was not getting as many likes and as many shares on her photos, and she ended herself. She self-deleted. But she was attractive and she was pretty, but she was also young, 19, 20, something like that. And what we're doing today is we're generating a society that it's all about the clicks. It's all about the looks. It's all about the shallow and the superficial things, how good a guy looks, how many muscles he has, how pretty a girl is, how much she, what her physical shape is and how much or she is or isn't wearing. And that's why I joke about Idiocracy, because they were all about, big screen TVs and biting. And you know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. So it seems like we're kind of going in that direction, and that having an interesting conversation and someone able to communicate and to have a good conversation. And for me and for many of you guys out there, that's still important. Now, if you just want to kind of hit it and quit it, do the hardware store, as I call it, which is do the screw, the nut, and the bolt. I have to always think to get that in the right order. Screw, nut, and bolt, which means you get in, you get off, you get out. A lot of guys say, I'm just going to go for the prettiest. I don't care about her personality. I'm just going to pay her a little cash. Some guys are doing that too. But women are not stable right now. And I'm going to, let me get to the main point here. I'm going to read through this quickly. And anyway, the first thing, this is from a poster on my betterbachelor.locals.com website, posted up a link to a place called Scary Mommies. And these are a bunch of stories. They had 658,000 confessions, which is what I've got pulled up here. So 658,000 women, although a couple I think might have been guys the way they read. And they just put this up there, and then people either like them or they give them a virtual hug, which means, of course, nothing. And a Me Too. And Me Too means, hey, I'm going through the same thing. But I wanted to read some of these because this is kind of where, and these are the most current ones. I literally just started right at the top. It says, if I could go back in time, I will tell my little self in kindergarten, your mom is very broken. God loves you, and a lot of people will love you in your life. Just be strong. Don't hurt yourself. It says 36 other people said Me Too. Now, this is actually a higher number for the ones that are on page 1. This is page 1. This goes back tens of thousands of pages. So when you see this instantly resonated with a lot of women. Let me go on to the next one here. The silver lining of the bug is that I can avoid my toxic mother without trouble from her. It has been a peaceful year. Sorry others are suffering, but I'm happy with the reprieve from her toxic BS. And another one that I saw that I didn't pull up, I don't think I saved it, but was it was kind of the same thing. At the end, it said, I secretly think my mom is jealous of me or of my looks or of my success or something like that. And it's like I talked about before, when you have single moms or a broken home or a bad family, and again, I don't say single dads because 85% of the women get the custody. So and it doesn't seem like, I didn't see any from that said my single dad or my dad. That tells you something. It tells these women are not being raised properly. They're not coming from a good home. They're not okay. And so when you get into a relationship with them, they may look at you as the father figure. They may look at you as the boyfriend. They may look as the provider. But when someone is broken, it's not your job, and nor can you ever put them back together again. It doesn't work. And this is universal. Doesn't matter who you're dating. You can never fix somebody else. They have to fix themselves. And a lot of times people say, yeah, but I'm a good person. I'm in a good place. I can help them. I can bring them along. Don't do that to yourself. Because one of two things usually happens. Number one, they won't fix themselves. They don't get any better. And now you've got that toxic garbage on your hands. Or you go through a lot of work and a lot of effort and you improve them and they improve their situation and then they leave you. And they don't appreciate anything you did. So take it from me. If they're broken, just walk away and wish them the best. And mean it. Mean it. Say, hey, I really wish you the best, because I don't like society being broken and everything being screwed up. And wish them the best, but you're never going to heal them. Here's another one. It seems pathetic. Who am I kidding? It is pathetic. But some days, posting on here is the only human interaction I have with the world. 71 people said Me Too. All right, let's move on to the next one. I have too many pets and I am overwhelmed. 25 Me Toos. I'm scared. 18 Me Toos. I feel overwhelmed. 39 Me Too. and this is the last one I have for you on this one. My standards keep getting progressively lower as the years go on. In my 20s and 30s, a guy had to be attractive, funny, good in bed, not have kids, drive a nice car, etc. Now it's pretty much just hold down a job and don't be a psycho. There you go. 16 other Me Too's. So now I'm not just saying this is just women. I mean, guys being raised today, a lot of you younger guys have emailed me and said, yeah, I have a single mom, or I had my grandparents raise me, or, you know, even, or in some cases, my dad was not a good person to me and he didn't raise me well. And this is, again, when you have this, people struggle when they don't have a good upbringing. I had an excellent upbringing. I am spoiled. I am very spoiled now today, really. I mean, back when I was a kid, it was kind of the status quo. And the kid that had the divorced parents, you're kind of like, oh, his parents are divorced. Now that's more the status quo. And when I say my parents, I think I've heard them have two arguments in 40 years. That's not normal. And so I am very spoiled. And that's one of the reasons why I try to at least give what I've learned from a good family forward to some of you guys, because you don't have that advantage. So let's get into, I've got just a little tiny bit more here to read. Let me get rid of some of these pictures here. This is going to take 1 minute, and then we'll get on to some more fun stuff. Women's Mental Health 101, Statistics, Symptoms, and Resources. Now, this is going back 3 years, but it was the most recent study that had a little bit of information on this stuff that I thought was what I was looking for. 2017, 46.6 million adults in the U.S. were treated for mental illness. Yet the percentage of women being treated for mental illness was almost 50% higher than men. 22% of women versus 15% of adult men had these problems. So now we're at 22%. We're closing in, you could almost say 1 in 4 women suffer from mental illness. And the illnesses they're talking about specifically here, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, and anxiety. These are all really tough things to date or start dating or be in a stable relationship with somebody that has these problems, right? So this is something to kind of keep in mind when I read you the next things that are coming up, because this shows a little bit. So I pulled up this article, and I thought this was fun. And you know what? This thing is 9 years old. And I'm going to tell you this. For all you guys that crap on me and you say, dude, article's 9 years old. Okay. But if we were going to talk about the horrors of conflict between countries, we might reference, say, Nagasaki and what happened in Japan. Why? Well, a big atom bomb went off back then, right? And so that's the reference we use, because it hasn't happened since. Well, just because I pick up an article that's 9 years older doesn't mean it's not as relevant today. And matter of fact, I would say it's more relevant because I like snapshots in the past, because they show where we were and where we are now. Well, in this case, we're exactly the same place that they were 10 years ago, only it's getting worse. So it says, have single women gone crazy? And this is from the Sydney Morning Herald. Now, this probably wouldn't be printed today by the Sydney Herald, because a lot of these sites, how dare you when you talk poorly.
How dare you?
When you talk poorly about a woman. Says, well, I often hear single women complaining to me that all the good men are either taken or gay. Lately, I've been privy to the flip side of the dating coin. Blokes who are looking to dip their loafers in the icy waters of singledom in hope of finding a long-term girlfriend. Yes, not all men are commitment-phobic cads. Oh, you see, we're cads if we're not okay for long-term commitment. I see how it is. Anyway, they say they are finding that not everything is as peachy as they might first have thought. As my favorite writer on this subject, Gareth Simpson, wrote in an article for the Daily Mail a while back, save me from the Bridget Jones clones. Simpson also searched for a girlfriend, describes single women as boring, and says that not only are they obsessed about themselves and the way they look, but all they want to, or indeed can, talk about is work. I found this interesting. That's not, most of the time I don't find women talking about work. Usually they're talking about their social lives or social media. But again, going back 9 years, a lot of this social media stuff didn't exist nearly to the degree it does today. Now what do they do instead of talking about work? They sit there on their phones and they're looking at swiping at social media and taking a picture of their food and doing anything but looking you in the eye and having a decent conversation with you. And you know something? I get it, but you can set a ringtone for your family, and if you get a text message or a phone call from your family, it'll give you a different ringtone, at least on most modern phones I've found. And if you say, oh, I have a sick grandma, or I have my dad, or my dog watcher, or babysitter in some cases if you're dating a mom or whatever, you can set a different tone for those people. So you have no excuse to check. You'll hear a ring that's different. Now, that's what I used to do, at least, because when I'm engaging with somebody that's a friend or somebody that's important to me, don't want to be on the darn phone. Well, that's what I would say replaces work now, is social media and checking up on all that crap. Anyway, they continue on. What about this newfound sexual freedom that so many modern women seem to embrace? Apparently, that's not so attractive either. I also found them far too upfront about the bedroom. What sort of man wants to be propositioned on a first date? I certainly don't. It's terribly off-putting. Now, a lot of you guys would say, I've never been propositioned by a woman ever. I would like that. And when I was a younger guy, I've never really been propositioned by a woman either. Well, I take that back. Actually, I have, now that I think about it. But the point being is that it felt a little good to have a woman so into you that she was like, wow, you're really cute. You want to just do it. And I can't say that I wouldn't have done it when I was younger. I might have. But now, no. Because of so many red flags and issues women have, and the accusations that they can make against you that may not turn out to be so true, and all the other problems that you can get into with this, you need more time to spend with them, to vet them for red flags, to make sure they're not crazy, to make sure they're not going to hurt you or claim things against you. So now, of all things, if a woman today were to come up and even if she was 23 and smoking hot and really interesting and cute and said, hey, you know what? I just love to do it. Let's go do it. I'd be like, no, I'm good. Thank you. Because of the red flags. And the other thing is, the little itchy scratchies, the STIs, they're on the rise big time year after year after year. This is a different world out there. Women have put themselves out there so much that the woman that now puts herself out there is the new norm. Now a lot of guys would say, you know what would be refreshing? If I could meet a sane woman that was cute, she doesn't have to be hot, just enough I find her attractive, a sane woman that I find attractive, that I could have a good conversation with, that's not always on her phone or checking on her social media, and just enjoy the moment with a person, without the phones, without the interruptions, without fear of being claimed. That's the new, counterculture. That's what guys are looking for now. Now, it used to be everybody loved the fast, free girls, but they weren't so, they were plenty fast, but they weren't so free, and they weren't around. Now it's everywhere. And guys are finding, you know what, this isn't as great as I thought it would be, because it's, I don't know. I don't have a great way to, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So they continue on. So just how difficult are single women these days? Extremely, says my newly single 30-something mate, Rob. They all have something wrong with them. Rob says that women these days are so complicated, jealous, emotionally unstable, and clueless that he fears he's never going to find a wife, let alone a sane, normal girlfriend. When I asked him to elaborate, he did, and it wasn't pretty. For the sake of warning all the single women out there hoping to snag a bloke, herein lies the top 6 reasons why he refuses to settle down. Now again, we're going back 9 years. So for you guys that are a couple years older like I am, if you go back to 9 years compared to today, aren't you basically saying 9 years ago, that was nothing compared to today? Today, it took the 4 and turned that knob up to 11. All right. Number 1, the emotionally unavailable girl due to some issue with their own worth and self-esteem. These are women who are great at first, but the minute I get a little close to them and they realize I'm actually a nice guy, they start regaling me with all their problems. It's one thing after another, so I try to help them out as much as I can, but the more I do, the clingier and worse they get. Now, smash cut. Now, this is again 10 years ago. Smash cut to today. The emotionally unavailable girl due to some issue with their own worth and self-esteem. Now, they don't get more clingy. Now, they don't cling at all. They'll get invested in a guy a little bit. They'll start dating, and when they realize they could possibly have emotions for the guy, and the guy is getting emotions for them, They bail, they find an excuse, they don't latch on because they're scared of getting their hearts broken, or they're scared to be left behind, or maybe they do cling. I mean, there are stage 5 clingers. That's where that term comes from, because I used to use it all the time. But let me use this as an example. Let me zoom this in a little bit. This is from Reddit. Can I heal from multiple broken hearts? I am with an amazing guy right now. He's caring, smart, and creative, but multiple breakups, lies, and manipulation from guys in my past have caused me to have a hard time being receptive to him. I'm afraid to take the next steps of marriage and kids. I'm afraid that marrying him will take away my autonomy and tie me to the home forever. In other words, I'll be stuck with just one guy. And I don't know if I can do that. And she's got a lot of, and again, they say multiple breakups, lies, and manipulation from guys in the past. Okay, maybe that's 100% on those guys. But she didn't red flag check them, and she dated them, and she more than likely bedded them and had fun with them. And then they were like, I'm just a player. I got what I wanted. I'm out. Where she got emotions, and it repeated and repeated and repeated, and it burnt out her ability to pair bond with somebody. And now she's with a great guy, and that great guy is probably hoping that she will pair bond with him, and she has the inability to. And this is why we say having many partners that are short-term or being with the bad boys that will do this to you will fry them out. They're fried out. And this girl, now, again, you date them short-term, and you find this kind of thing out, that's it, man. That's it. You can't fix her. She is broken, and it is not your ability nor your job to fix her. It is up to her to go get her own therapy. You can't send her to therapy. You can't force her to therapy. She's got to go to therapy herself. In the meantime, what do? You break it off and you move on with your life. It sucks, but that's the breaks. Anyway, she continues on. Whenever we talk about intimacy, I feel like degraded. He never said anything degrading. It's just that I can't help but feel gross and easy when we dirty talk. I sometimes have the hope that he's a player in disguise and will leave me. I want to run away, but I know it would be wrong. I need help healing my toxic views of intimacy and boys. That's what, and when I talk, and I say, hey, you girls, you do your OnlyFans. Girls, you go sleep with 100 guys. I do not care. I cannot tell you what to do. It is not my job. I am not the arbiter of what is and isn't right for somebody. But I can tell you, you're going to mess yourself up. And then when you try to get in those real relationships, whether it's at 28, 32, 35, 48, whatever it is, you're broken. And men are walking away because everyone they're talking to is broken. They're done with it. When you find somebody that's healthy, and here's the interesting part. As a guy, when you find somebody that's healthy and interesting and kind of cool to talk to, what ends up happening most of the time? They date for a little while and they find Mr. Handsome or Mr. Next rung up on the food chain, or they ghost you, or they get bored of you because you're not exciting and Mr. Danger. When you start adding all these numbers up, no bueno, I'm telling you. All right, let's move on to the next number here. They say number 2, the insane psycho stalker girl. This is the one where if I don't give her attention every minute of the day, she goes crazy or assumes I'm seeing someone else. She misinterprets everything I say as an attack on her. She is very insecure. I often start to question if she even likes me or if she's just using me as a crutch. There's a lot of these too. How many girls are jumping on the Facebook profiles to check? I even read one that was like, a woman had posted, I don't understand. My boyfriend broke up with me because I got on I stole his Facebook password and got on his phone and checked his messages and did all this investigating because I wanted to establish trust. That's not how you establish trust. She just wanted to comfort herself to make sure there was no one else around, and then that would make her feel better and have more trust for him. However, she ruined the trust he had for her. Here's our example for this one. And again, not all of them are perfect, but I tried to find something that synced up. So this is the psycho crazy person. This is from Facebook, which is a public place, and this is a girl airing her crazy, dirty laundry out there, and I want you to hear the replies to this, okay? But this is public. My ex-boyfriend physically forced me to sleep with him today. I have to read that word like that. Well, not today, more like last month. I just found out about it today. See, Okay, let's stop there for a second. So he forced himself on her, she says, today. And then she says, well, not today, more like last month. And then she said, I just found out about it today. So what does that sound like? It sounds like maybe she was asleep. Maybe she had had a little bit too much to drink or something. And he did something bad to her, even though they're boyfriend, girlfriend. If she doesn't want it and she's passed out and he does it, that's wrong. And maybe a friend told her or something. Because she said, hey, he forced himself on me. Well, not today, more like last month. I just found out about it today. Now, let's read the rest of this to see what craziness is. You ready, fellas? Buckle up for this one, because this one's crap. See, he promised to marry me if I slept with him. But he found out that I cheated last night on him. And so he broke up with me this morning. How can I get the police to side with me on this? I'm going to read that one more time because it is so unbelievably hard to believe that human beings think like this today. He took advantage of me today. Well, not today, more like last month. I just found out about it today. See, he promised to marry me if I slept with him, but he found out that I cheated last night and he broke up with me this morning. So she did the cheating, he found out, and now she wants the police to arrest him for breaking up with her for her cheating on him because he promised to marry her if they slept together. Guys, this is psycho. And you know what the worst part is? This woman, 2 women answer. Here's the first answer. Now, 27 people like that comment, by the way. This woman answers and says, tell them that he held you down last night and forced it on you. Tear your clothes a bit. Put on a bit of show for them. And the reply, this isn't 2 women, I'm sorry. This is the original poster replying. Why won't just telling the police the truth work? And the other woman answers, because the law has an unreasonably strict definition of men taking advantage of women. The police wouldn't consider what your ex did to you to be an attack because you let him do it. And the original poster answers, that's effed up. Thanks for the advice. I'm sure it'll work out. Brother man, whoever you are that was dating this girl that apparently promised to marry her and slept with her and then broke up with her because she cheated on you, this wasn't on him. I hope he's not in jail. I genuinely mean that. This is, again, these red flags. This is why we don't just be nice to a girl and go off to her place. And some guys still do it. Some guys, dude, I hook up with Tinder girls all the time. We have a great time. I just make sure to give them a fake name and go to their place. I don't know about you, man, but if she goes crazy and everything and goes to the law and they run a kit on her and she gets DNA or they get DNA, that record's there. You better hope your DNA doesn't come up in anything else for the rest of your life. I'm telling you guys, you got to be careful out there. All right, next one. The money grabber. Well, let me prepare this one. We know how this one goes already. It goes so often that I have a button for it. The gold digger. She only wants to hang out with me except that I will take her to a fancy restaurant or a weekend away every week. I once took a girl to Vegas for a week. I spent thousands of dollars at the Bellagio in one of the top suites. For the week after, I wanted to do something chilled. No fancy dinners, just us hang out. Then I found out she went and cheated on me with one of my friends and an old workmate.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Of course she did. You don't spend money like that on a woman when you're first dating or first getting, or even after a while. Unless she's spending it on you, you don't spend it ever, as far as I'm concerned. And what's our example for this one? Well, this is just a simple screenshot. And this is, of course, from our favorite female dating strategy. She said, one girl says, the I've got a boyfriend line doesn't work anymore. And the woman below that answered with, gotta go with, I'm looking for a man, or she said, gotta go with, I'm looking for a man to pay all my bills, works for a charm. So now I've got a boyfriend doesn't work, so now they're just going to say, I just want to date a guy that wants to pay all my bills. And that's the new go away. It will work. A bonus for you girls for for coming up with this one. That one will work. I actually found this one over on my local site where one of my users left this. So good on you. All right, and then the last one, or second to last. Well, I've got 3 more. I'm sorry. The flake. I try to make plans with them all the time, and they agree, but then they flake. I was supposed to go up to Coast this weekend with a girl, and she agreed. And then when I tried to call her during the week to confirm everything was still going ahead, I never got a reply. I deleted my Facebook account, and then I got a text from her about an hour later saying, I can't believe you're so annoyed at me that you deleted me from Facebook. What a self-involved bee. So he messages her. They set up plans. She blows him off, and he just deletes her as a contact or a friend or however it works over on Facebook because I'm not on it. And then she says, well, how dare you, because you removed me from Facebook for not hanging out with you. The jealous control freak, the minute we start dating, she wants to control every aspect of what I do and where I go and who I see. She immediately doesn't want me to have any friends, which is difficult in my case because I have so many. Although it means nothing, and no matter how much you explain it to her, she insists I get rid of my friends. Let me zoom this up a little bit. Look at this poor dude. This girl makes a shirt for her boyfriend to wear while they're apart. The shirt has a picture of her with her butt sticking out on it. And it says, if you're reading this, you've been looking at my man for too long. And this is how I'd be looking at you if I was here. Hi, I'm Holly, his girlfriend. I'm going to read this article. It's super quick, but it's number one, it tells you what a simp this guy is, like how sad a guy this is that would even put the shirt on. You might say, ha, funny joke. She says, no, you will wear this when you leave the house. Every time you leave the house without me, you better wear this shirt. I'll tell you exactly how I'd handle it. I'd say, okay. And I'd start packing all my bags and all my things, and then I'd put on the shirt and I'd go, I'm leaving without you. And I'd walk out the effing door, and you're never going to see me again. And then that shirt goes in the trash can on the way to the curb and my new life. But no, these guys are so, whipped that they put up with it. And then they put it on social media like, tee, isn't this funny? Isn't this great guy? Look at me humiliating my man. Oh, good on you, sweetheart. You really proved you've got a winner on your hands by humiliating him. And he proved that he's an idiot because he got humiliated. It says Holly Cockerill? Yeah, Holly Cockerill from Manchester got the top made for her boyfriend, Carl Henman, and shared photos of him wearing it on Twitter. So she publicly made him look like an idiot. The top had the warning message to other women. I already read it. And this is them. Dude, you're so sad. Holly captured a tweet. I don't think Carl likes his new top I got for him this birthday. She said, well, kisses, wear it with pride, hun. The post was liked by thousands of people and received mixed replies. Of course it did. Guys or people that are winners will hate it, and people that are losers will like it. One person wrote, Carl, blink twice if you're being held against your will. That's probably the best response right there. Another said, and I thought I was insecure, but damn, you took it to a whole nother level. Carl himself then replied, babe, I really don't want to wear this stupid top tonight. Can I take this thing off? Now remember, he replied on social media like a dink. But Holly shut him straight down, replying, no, you best keep it on at all times, even around your family, you little bee. Dude. You lost your man card. You didn't lose your man card. You got that revoked. Like, you can't go down to the man card shop and have another one printed. You're done. You're done, brother. And I had one more screen print. Here's another one that this loser has on. I love my girlfriend, Abby, and I hate all the girls in Ibiza. So please stay away from me. And it's 4 pictures of her kissing and holding on him. Loser, loser, loser.
One of the worst deals ever made of any kind, signed by anybody.
Loser. All right, and the last one here. She won't change her Facebook status from single to in a relationship. She refused to put that she was no longer single on her Facebook status. I know this is a small thing, but I know how men work. And there were tons of men asking her out and sending her lewd text messages. Instead of telling them that she had a boyfriend, she refused and simply ignored it, or sometimes actually wrote back, playing along. Let me tell you something, brother. She wasn't, number one, she didn't put that she was in a status because you may think you're official, you're not official. You are what we call a placeholder. You're temporary. And number two, when she said she was writing back, playing along. No, she was writing back, quote, looking for a replacement for you. And what's her example for that one? This is a post from something. I don't know. This was a screenshot that I found on the forum, but I mean, it's legit. It looks like it's one of the forums. It might actually be Reddit. I don't know. It's got ups, down. Yeah, it looks like Reddit. Anyway, it says, I see this F-boy occasion. Let me start with a title. I don't know how to continue. I need advice. I see this F-boy occasionally, and I think it's screwing with my dating life and how I interact with people I try to date. The funny thing is that I can't end it because I see myself with him more than the guys that actually want to date me. It doesn't feel like I'm spending time with my sister when I spent time with him. Wait, what? It doesn't feel like I'm spending time with my sister when I spent time with him? Maybe I just need to tell him this before it F's with any more of my dates. Does anyone have any recommendation for low-cost or free therapy apps that might actually help? I'm also thinking about therapy. So she's sleeping with one guy, and that's the guy she really wants to be with, but he doesn't want to be with her. So what does she do in the meantime? She goes out and tries to date other guys that might want to date her, that are the nice guys. And what does she say? Yeah, like they like me, but I don't want to be with them. So basically, she's sleeping with one dude. He doesn't want her. So instead of breaking it up and moving on and maybe getting therapy, what'd she do? She keeps sleeping with him, and then she goes out and tries to get another boyfriend that maybe cares for her. And she admits she needs help. Dude, unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, let me lop this one off, and we will jump on to the dating profile of the day. Now, you may notice that I normally blur out pictures. I did not blur out this picture. The reason why is because I actually photoshopped Ernest Borgnine, who's an older actor, like from the 80s and going back older than that. Used to be on a lot of old TV shows. Ernest Borgnine, I photoshopped his face, and the one that matched really well was the black and white one, so it is what it is. But I put the same amount of lipstick and eyelashes on, just so you know. So you've got Ernest Borgnine instead of the blurred face, because you guys have to see her, what she looks like, but I can't do an unblurred face. So here's what she pretty close, like 99% looks like. She says she's 49. She's a princess, fun, friendly fairy with the crazy, intelligent, wild, looking for chat date, meet, like-minded, no stress, no drama. I'm looking for my captain, no fakes, no time wasters. I pick. No chat simply because I don't want meet men who have intentions of meeting someone or they bored, done, look, or not interested in a relationship. Work hard, spend even harder. I high maintenance, classy, sassy princess who looks good, looking for meeting someone special, period. That's the first sentence. I'm single, no ties, no hang-ups. So Ernest Borgnine is a princess who's picky and is high maintenance, fellas. Whew. And doesn't apparently know punctuation. And there might be some periods in there. I don't see them. All right, profile number 2. This gal is 44, and I'm sorry, but she's over in Europe again. It's kilometers is the distance. She says, 44, wherever life plants you, you bloom with grace. I am not, parentheses, or not anymore, parentheses, into no strings attached, one-night stands, booty calls, partner in crime, poly, and so on. I'm here looking for a real connection. The rest would come easy? Question mark. So she's now not into no strings attached, one-night stands, booty calls, partner in crime, and multiple partners at the same time. Why is that, you say? Could it be perhaps she's gotten to the age of 44 and no one really wants to be with somebody like that anymore? I don't know. But that's not what she wants anymore. She says now, want to be happily in love with a tall, honest, kind, single man and maybe have a couple of babies together. I don't have children, but definitely want them. She's 44. I don't think there are any hens in the, or any hens. I don't think there are any eggs in the nest anymore. Or if there are, by the time you meet somebody and date them and decide to have a long-term relationship and maybe get married, and then forget it. I mean, 46, 47, I mean, it can happen. I think it's a 1 in a billion. So maybe if you're one of the lucky guys that decides to go out with her, you're going to have to do it at least. I think mathematically, to give this a chance of working, I think you're going to have to sleep together at least 417 times a day to even have a chance of making this happen. I just don't see it happening. But good on you, girl. You had your fun in your past, but now it's time to settle down and find your good guy. Guys, the message for today is pretty simple, and you know, I hear it from women. I hear it from women too. But let's face it, the real pretty people out, and I say this so much, but I don't know why people do not understand this. The pretty people are going to sleep with everybody if they want to, and they're guys if they want to. The pretty women will sleep with just the good-looking guys. Or they found they can cash app, or not cash app, they can OnlyFans it. Or they can, do pay for play. There's a lot of narcissism. There's a lot of people that love themselves more than anything else in the world. And what do they love second? Second, they love their social media presence and the attention from many people. And, you know, if you're a not pretty girl, but you go somewhere and you bare your chest, and you're going to get 100 likes on the photo from skeevy guys. But somehow that relates to her thinking, oh, men want me, and I'm popular, and they're attracted to me. And no, that's not how that works. And then when they get so hung up on the attention and the needing validation and all this other stuff, and they find out that it doesn't come anymore, and they find out that all these shallow short-term relationships aren't about love, that they're just being used, and they find out that they're not as popular, awesome as they thought, and they find out that, hey, I wanted to be a strong, independent woman, but wait, what do you mean I'm 22, but I have to work till 65? I have to work 43 years more until I can retire? I don't like this deal. And they want an out? It's too late. It's too late. The damage is done. Can you reverse this damage? You can, but you gotta do it yourself. And that's why we gentlemen are here talking about it, so you guys can recover from some of this damage, so you guys can avoid getting damaged even further by some of these women. You know, and this is universal. This is universal for anybody. If you come from a troubled home, speak to somebody about it. Speak to a professional about it. Maybe it's 1 session, 3 sessions, 5 sessions. Maybe you sign up for a lifetime membership because you've had such a hard time. It may happen, but get some help. I've talked to a professional before. I really did. Now it turns out that I taught the professional a lot, and they were able to get over their issues because I counseled them through that. No, when I was younger, I used to have panic attacks, and it was when I was in my 20s. And it felt like I was literally having a heart attack. And I was short of breath, lightheaded, my heart just pounding. I'm like, his arms starting to, I'm like, oh, is this it? Like, is Joker checking out at the tender age of 26? Turned out it was panic attacks. And it wasn't from family-related things. It was stress I was putting on myself for thinking I was never good enough. Not good enough for girls, not good enough for my job. I didn't make enough money, social pressures. I didn't have this super advanced degree. It was all pressure I was putting on myself, and talking to somebody about that, it helped me through it. So I'll be the first to admit I've seen a professional. Everybody, I mean, we're almost today where a lot of people, I think, could use this more. And if you're a guy, I always recommend speaking to a male professional, because they may have more of a understanding of where you're coming from when you talk about whether it's relationship or family issues. Maybe not. It's just my recommendation, but I definitely wanted to talk to a guy because I felt he might understand the pressures of being a guy and work. So get some help if you need it. But you can never lead them to the help. They've got to go on their own. And while we've got all these social problems going on, finding somebody that doesn't need help, that's okay, that's mentally stable, that's mentally stable, it's not going to go, crazy on you and all this stuff. Now, finding that along with something you find attractive, holy crap. Holy crap. You want to talk about impossible. The odds of dating have gotten so slim. I still say it's astronomical.